If you want to be successful as a market gardener, it all comes down to finding the right crops to grow for your market. If you can't do that, amongst other things, you're going to fail. Let's find out all about that today on Modern Grower. Hello, growers. Welcome to the channel. I'm Diego, Diego, and for the past 10 years, I've talked to hundreds of market gardeners through my various podcasts. Along the way, I started my company, Modern Grower, where we sell tools, seeds, and supplies to market gardeners. The mission of my company, what I've dedicated hours, months of my life to, is helping people run profitable businesses. I'm a small business owner. I'm a dad. We homeschool. I get how challenging it is. I want people who start businesses to succeed. So I'm doing everything I can to help inform people to make the right decisions. And that leads right into today's video. If you want to start a market farm, one of the most critical decisions you can make is choosing the right crops to grow. This isn't the only factor of success, but it's one of the pillars of one of the legs of the stool, not the pillars of the stool. It's one of the legs of the stools of success. If you choose the wrong crops, but get everything else right, you're growing, you're marketing, it's not going to work. Because crops are what you're selling. You need what's popular, you need what's profitable, and you need what works given your land size. Mess some of that up, and you are growing unprofitably, you're growing for fun, and that's not what farming's about. That's what gardening's about. When it comes time to market farm, we're talking business, we're talking profits. That's what comes first. Be profitable, and then you could do other things with those profits. So one of the keys to choosing the right crop is using the crop value rating system, or CVR. I've done a whole detailed series on this, but I wanted to make a much shorter video for people who like shorter videos talking about it. The idea behind the crop value rating system is it gives you a way to quickly look at all the crops out there and say yes, no, yes or no. As you're flipping through the seed catalog, that's a yes, that's a no, that's a yes, that's a no. And it weeds out stuff. It takes the emotion out of it. It gets it down to brass tacks of here's what we need to do to make the business work. And it removes, this is what I want to grow. This is what's cool to grow. Ooh, wouldn't that be fun? All that goes away. We can always do that in a corner of the property for fun, but that's not what we're growing as a business. Because as a small market garden, and most market gardens by definition and by default are small, you don't have a lot of land. And when you don't have a lot of land, you have to maximize the value of what you're growing on the land. We can't just grow more. We're actually growing less. So when we grow less, we have to grow less, but higher value stuff. And we have to grow more of it, and we have to grow it more frequently. That's really the key here. So we want fast growing crops, high value crops, high yielding crops, popular crops, and crops that we can cycle again and again and again. So when you look at through that seed catalog this winter, if you're thinking about starting a market garden, or if you're a curtain market gardener looking to add a new crop, not talking something experimental, but your main staples. That's what we're talking about here. Your bread and butter crops, the things that are going to drive revenue, drive cash flow, and support the business. This isn't the one-off thing that some chef wants or something that you're trying. These are the main crops you're going to grow. You're going to look at these 5 factors. You're going to score every crop with either 1 or 0 for each of the 5 factors. The higher the score, the closer to 5, the better that crop potentially is, given your context of your farm. Number 1 is short days to maturity. The faster you can grow a crop and get it to be mature and harvested, the better. Cash flows faster. It gets it in and out of the field faster. You can reuse that land more. So anytime you can get a short DTM crop, that's what you want to go for. We're talking 28 days around that for days to maturity on something like radishes. For a lot of crops, you don't want to be over 60 to 70 days to maturity. Anything over 100, forget it, unless you have a lot of land or you can really, really make an economic case for growing that. The second factor, you want a high yield per linear foot. So for every foot of the bed, if we cut up the chunks of the bed into 1 foot sections, we want that little 1 foot section to be worth as much money as possible. So if we have to compare two crops, cabbage and microgreens over a 1 foot section, microgreens are going to be worth way more than that cabbage. If you compare cherry tomatoes versus that cabbage over a 1 foot section, cherry tomatoes are going to be worth way more. When you don't have a lot of land, every little section of land has to produce more than less. You want to maximize value per square foot of land. Salad mix is a great example. You're about half a pound per linear foot of bed, and half a pound of salad mix is worth about $5-6, depending on where you are in the country. That is much more than you would get selling something like cabbage or squash or something like that. The third factor you want to consider in the crop value rating system is a high dollar value per weight unit. If all else is equal, we have a heavy thing here and another heavy thing here, two big heavies, and they're sitting on my hands. The one that costs more, or the one I can sell for more, is the one I want to grow, assuming I can sell equal amounts of it. Can't have a lot of land, so whenever we harvest something out of the land, we want to sell it for as much as we possibly can. So avoid low-value crops. Salad mix, $11 a pound. Microgreens, $20+ a tray. Those are the things you want to be looking at. That's not to say that's all you grow, but a lot of the staples that market gardeners grow, tomatoes, carrots, radishes, turnips, salad greens, those are high-value crops. That's why they grow them. That's why they're not growing potatoes, corn, green beans, strawberries, that type of thing. They just tend to be lower value and also score lower on other factors considered out of these 5 of the crop value rating system. The fourth factor you need to consider in the crop value rating system is a long harvest period. What that means is you want to find a crop that either you plant it once and you can harvest it continuously for a long period of time. Kale, you plant it once, it grows up, you keep picking it, cut and come again type style, and you can harvest it over a long period of time. Indeterminate tomatoes, you plant them once, harvest over a very long period of time. Another way to think about a long harvest period is rapid crop succession. So something that you can plant, replant, salad mix, radishes, they also fit into that category. Why do you want this? It makes the most efficient use of the land that you have. By planting something and getting a long harvest period over it, you're adding the dollars you can pull off that crop over a long period of time. Crops like potatoes or corn, you might allow them to grow for 120 days and get one harvest at the end. That harvest divided by 120 days is a low dollar value per day amount. And that's actually a measure that some farmers will use is dollar value per day in the field. So that's something you can consider on your farm. The fifth and final criterion in the crop value rating system is popularity. The more popular a crop is, the more you should grow it, assuming it checks the boxes for all 4 previous factors. Don't just grow popular stuff if you can't sell a bunch of it. Don't grow popular stuff if it isn't high value. Don't grow popular stuff if it's really difficult to grow. But you get where this is going. People have to want it. There has to be demand. Otherwise, it's not worth growing. Carrots, salad mix, tomatoes, cucumbers, they're all popular across the country. They're more or less timeless. That's why a lot of people grow them. So when you think about this criterion, it's not gospel. It's not going to make you bulletproof, but it should weed out the bad actors. You can use this to refine down your selection of what you want to grow. You're going to balance everything based upon your needs and what your market wants. And always adapt, always be flexible, and consider that it's not just these things that make the final decision. There's logic here too, right? If somebody's saying that we just don't like carrots, well, carrots might score a 5 out of 5 on your CVR, but if nobody's buying them, don't grow them. So think about this to help make smarter decisions when you're choosing that next crop to grow, or when you're choosing what crops you want to grow as a market gardener. If you want to learn more about everything market gardening, be sure to check out my many podcasts, which I've linked to below, or some of the other amazing videos here on this channel. That's all for this one. Thanks for watching. Until next time, be nice, be thankful, and do the work.